I do want to emphasize this is just preliminary. We have more work to do, but as Trustee House said, we believe that it's very important to come before the members of the public so you would have some context for what the current state of your finances are at city government. As has been alluded to, I think there's going to have to be some tough decisions that are made.
Chicago's former mayor Lori Lightfoot recently unveiled a shocking report revealing that Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard allegedly misused taxpayer funds on a massive scale. The investigation, which Lightfoot was hired to conduct, found that Dalton's finances are in dire straits, with a $3.65 million deficit. Henyard reportedly used village funds for extravagant expenses, including over $43,000 in Amazon purchases in a single day and numerous luxury trips.
Records we received from the Taxpayers company in interviews that have been conducted that receipts for credit card purchases are rarely provided. Further, we understand that the credit card balance, because it comes due, of course, every month, we all know that, is paid as a matter of course. And it is reflected in the accounting records as miscellaneous police department expenditures. We're looking into what is the reason and rationale for that, but what this means is that these credit card bills that are paid do not appear on the warrant list and are therefore not presented to the board for approval. Again, that will be a recommendation that we make, and the board is obviously aware of this issue. The village does not have an Amazon account. These are somebody using one of the credit cards and charging these amounts using your tax dollars. We suspect we're going to see, as you can see, expenditures of Target, Walgreens, Best Buy, a number of charges that raise questions in our mind. Are these legitimate purchases using the credit card? What we've also found in the credit cards, I know that there's been a lot of interest in travel, and we are highlighting here on this slide some of the travel that is reflected in the village credit card.
There are also concerns about unpaid vendors and questionable spending on police overtime.
Obviously, we didn't win the election today, but I stand here with my head held high and a heart full of gratitude. God bless you. God bless this incredible city. It's been the honor of a lifetime to be mayor. There's more work to do, and I just want to say thank you all deeply, deeply from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Allegations suggest that she has engaged in money laundering, using village funds for personal expenditures and misappropriating resources intended for public use.
Second close ally of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard to be indicted on federal bankruptcy fraud. And the lawyer tonight for Deputy Chief Louis Lacey tells me this is all part of prosecutors' strategy to get them to turn.
Launched this probe in April. For the first time tonight, she's expected to talk about the findings, and this room filling up fast with residents who are here for it. Now, Lightfoot just made her way into the room here at the Dalton Park District. Right now, she is talking to residents who are here. The former mayor and federal prosecutor was hired by 4 village trustees to investigate Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's spending habits. During her 3-year tenure, Henyard has faced numerous allegations of corruption, reckless spending, and retaliation. Henyard's also the focus of a number of lawsuits and federal probes.
Critics argue that Henyard has spent taxpayer money on inappropriate or non-essential items, leading to a significant mismanagement of the village's budget. These expenditures have allegedly contributed to the financial instability currently plaguing Dalton, a small village that has seen its resources dwindle under her leadership.
And since we last discussed this story, the village of Dalton is calling for Henyard's resignation, no surprise, and some were able to speak to her directly at a council meeting last week, raising concerns of her dereliction of duty as mayor. They want transparency, asking, where did all the money go? And it's a good question. City workers reported that they weren't being properly paid for what was previously approved, but Tiffany doesn't take well to criticism. Who would be surprised? Anytime you raise concerns to her face, this is exactly how she handles it.
Many of Tiffany Henyard's critics have been vocal about her actions as mayor, accusing her of misusing funds and making questionable decisions that have harmed the community. Critics point out that her administration has been marked by a lack of transparency and accountability, with many of her decisions being met with public outcry.
Y'all, I swear to God, I cannot make this up. You will not believe what I just found out about Tiffany Henyard, the mayor from Dalton, who is apparently on the run. To recap, she has not been seen since last Monday when she kicked people out of what was supposed to be a public trustee forum. Then on Monday, we found out that she has misappropriated about $7 million of the city's funds. Now, me being the nosy investigator that I am, I decided to do a background check on Tiffany just to see what I could find out. And I kid you not, she had 3 LLCs involuntarily dissolved. So the government shut down her LLCs after the FBI investigation started, and guess what they were called? And I swear I can't make this up. One of them was called Good Burger, and the other one was called Mondo Burger. As in the 1997 Keenan Kel Good Burger and their rival evil burger joint in the movie Mondo Burger. Which I have a feeling probably received some pretty hefty checks from the city of Dalton, Illinois over the last 2 years. And not gonna lie, it seems more than likely she's going under the name Aisha right now while she's on the run, because she had a real estate agency called Aisha Properties back in the day, which is her middle name. I also have to clarify, we don't know if she's actually on the run, people are just suspecting it. So if anybody sees her, I'd make a phone call. I can't get over this. Oh, I'm crying. Oh my God.
Henyard's hiring practices have also come under scrutiny, particularly regarding her employment of controversial figures. Among her staff are individuals with troubling backgrounds, including an employee being involved in SA.
Tiffany was accused of many different inappropriate actions. Here are just a few of them. Tiffany hired a former campaign worker as a code enforcement officer, despite the fact that he had been convicted of a horrible offense against a minor. In what appears to be a blatant effort to discourage someone from running against her, Tiffany successfully proposed a bill to cut the salary from her position to $25,000 a year if someone else defeated her in the next election to be held in 2025. If Tiffany is re-elected, her salary would be unchanged. Tiffany and other officials have spent over $67,000 of taxpayer money for trips to Portland, Atlanta, Austin, and New York City. Some of these trips involved first-class airfare and high-end hotels. On one occasion, Tiffany spent over $3,700 for a round-trip first-class ticket to Las Vegas so that she and other officials could attend a shopping center conference. Tiffany has never explained why she needed to travel in a luxurious manner or how the trips were connected to Village of Dalton business. Tiffany has been accused of misusing the Dalton police force. She filmed a music video with police officers and assigned full-time officers to her personal security detail. They were originally assigned after some protests in 2021, but Tiffany never reassigned them even after the protests.
Furthermore, one of her hires, a police officer, has been accused of bankruptcy, raising questions about the judgment behind these appointments. These controversial hires have further fueled criticism of her administration, with many questioning her commitment to upholding the integrity of her office and the safety of the community.
So now he's facing a 9-count indictment, including bankruptcy fraud, making false statements, and perjury. And each count carries a maximum of 5 years. And I just want to make it clear to the people in my comments who are making this racist, don't. I will delete your comment and possibly block you. And this is why I usually don't do stories of women in color in a negative light for that exact reason. But part of my platform is uncovering corruption. And this woman is a narcissist. Like, this was literally a poster about an event she held this weekend, giving out free book bags to kids for school. And here we have Tiffany Henyard, big letters across. Every picture has her in it. And my favorite part is, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it, Tiffany Henyard. She gave a quote from herself on the poster. That is next level.
In a highly controversial move, Tiffany Henyard fired Dalton's chief of police, who was reportedly investigating how village funds were being used. This decision has led to widespread speculation that the firing was an attempt to obstruct the investigation and prevent any potential findings from coming to light.
Just 4 days ago, she fired the chief of police because he was investigating all of those credit card receipts and all those claims of her funneling taxpayer dollars into her privately owned cancer awareness charity, which you cannot do. And in one of those investigations that the chief of police was investigating, it stated here in this tweet, and shout out to this person for tweeting this, they said Mayor Tiffany Henyard is one of the most corrupt ever. She actually hired a child offender, overpays her police officers. She overpays her police officers to be her security, which what do you need that much security for? You're a mayor of a town with about 20,000 people. One of the officers was paid $13,000 in 2 weeks for 300 hours of overtime. Did anybody work 300 hours of overtime? So this has to be investigated because it looks like these numbers were being padded. So the chief of police, or the ex-chief of police, had his attorney investigate these claims, and they're standing behind them that there were allegations of corruption, and he was investigating them. Now I'm gonna do a little bit more digging because I think there's a lot more to know about this Tiffany Henyard story because anybody who shows up to a city town hall meeting dressed like Nino Brown is definitely doing something that they shouldn't be doing.
Henyard has also been accused of using government police officers for her personal security, an allegation that has drawn significant criticism from both the public and local officials. These accusations claim that she has redirected police resources for personal purposes, including using them while going on trips and for performing personal errands.
Tiffany has taken security with her on some of the trips away from Dalton and been accused of using officers to run errands. Her behavior has cost the village thousands of dollars in overtime and denied some police protection to the residents. Tiffany handpicked candidates for the Dalton Board of Trustees and allegedly claimed that they had endorsements from the Thornton Township Democratic Party. The party denies granting these endorsements. This makes it seem like Tiffany was trying to stack the board with people who would do her bidding. Robert Collins filed a lawsuit against the village claiming that Tiffany illegally fired him. Tiffany allegedly thought that Robert's wife was too friendly with people Tiffany considered to be political opponents. Robert argued that he was discriminated against based on marital status and that Tiffany failed to secure the approval of the village board of trustees before firing him. Tiffany allegedly authorized thousands of dollars for 2 ice rinks that were never approved by the board of trustees. One was named Just Ice in honor of Tiffany's daughter, which bears her name. The Illinois Attorney General has demanded financial reports for this charity, and the FBI is investigating Tiffany's management of Thornton Township. In December of 2023, Tiffany was sued by several members of the Board of Trustees. They accused her of using checks without authorization, refusing to issue payments for invoices approved by the board, and restricting the access of certain financial information from the trustees. Some people believe that Tiffany is concealing evidence of alleged wrongdoing. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. Tiffany Henyard appears to be a big fan of herself. She has her own website where she refers to herself as the People's Super Mayor. She has also used this title in social media posts.
Trustees in Dalton have expressed their concerns regarding Tiffany Henyard's use of public funds, particularly pointing out that she has misused taxpayer money. According to reports, these trustees have repeatedly questioned her financial decisions, highlighting instances where funds were allocated inappropriately.
And we can back that up with a lot of information. This poorly worded message saying, I will be testifying before the Revenue Committee. A bill I created. She can't sign a bill, so she doesn't know what she's talking about. She has a Good Burger business. She changed the name of the Facebook to go to Tiffany Henyard's Foundation. So let's listen to her testifying from this committee talking about the foundation.
In September of this year, I founded the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, a non-for-profit organization whose mission is to find meaningful relief for people dealing with all types of cancer. Our goal is to provide resources and services for cancer patients as they fight for their lives. Whether it's wigs, prosthetics, or treatments, reduction of prescription drugs for options, support groups, or utility assistance. That is our focus. The Counselors Foundation supports everyone. The legislation supports our efforts. I am here before you as a representative of the people of Dalton and Township.
Okay, so this is the back and forth between Trustee Carlisle and Tiffany Henyard. Carlisle expressed concerns, as the usual stuff, township financial procedures, particularly with the lack of transparency and the difficulty in obtaining necessary financial documentation.
The trustees have voiced their frustration over the lack of transparency in Henyard's administration, and their concerns have only grown as the village's financial situation continues to deteriorate.
You know, someone taking a look at if that has happened, it is just good governance. And we should make sure that that is always taking place, no matter whom is the individual who's running a city or a parish or whatever the situation might be. But we also have to call out the fact that there is always a brighter spotlight. When I worked on Capitol Hill, I saw white congressmen who got themselves into trouble. And then unfortunately, I saw one of our own who did. And I saw that the media just kept circling like buzzards around the person who represented our folks. So we've got to also be very mindful that there is still this disparity in how stories are covered and whom the spotlight is placed on. But that also means that, as our parents always told us, that we had to be twice as good.
During a recent meeting, when trustees questioned Henyard about the use of village funds, she reportedly became angry and dismissed.
Henyard has this, I have a dream, I have a vision, and we shouldn't sell this property. We shouldn't talk about these leases for the cars that she did sign. This is where the disconnect is happening. And even the disconnect of, do they have animal control or they don't? How is that an argument? Now, someone, I think in Norwood, said a resident tried to call to get a dog. They try to contact animal control. There's no animal control. But then there's a $50,000 truck just sitting there. Tiffany Henyard said, oh, we did take care of a dog that one instance. Do they have animal control or not? Like, these very small issues are big issues, but nothing seems to get done. And then I think someone else got removed from the meeting. So right now, nothing can ever get done under this situation. I say this all the time. I feel like I'm repeating myself through the videos and the stuff that I go through. This is complete dysfunction. Now, I think there is a solution that's gonna come out of this, but nothing's gonna able to be taken care of right now. But that's the problem. There's millions and millions of dollars being spent irresponsibly. Whether it's legal, illegal, let's remove the FBI investigation of her doing some illegal stuff. But there's several issues that are destroying this village based on irresponsible spending and how that company is built to take advantage of the municipalities in terms of the high rate of interest. So that's why those vehicles cost so much. It's a scam. And this one is very interesting. Freeman received approximately $24,500 in consulting fees from a business located in Northfield, Illinois, Company A, that financed the lease purchase of firefighting and other equipment by municipalities and governmental organizations. Interesting. Consulting. He's getting paid for consulting.
Tiffany Henyard is facing serious allegations of using taxpayer money for personal luxury trips. The investigation led by Lori Lightfoot revealed that Henyard allegedly spent village funds on multiple trips to cities like Las Vegas, New York, and Washington, D.C., among others. These trips, which were charged to the village, included dozens of participants and lacked proper justification, raising concerns that the expenditures were for Henyard's personal benefit rather than official business.
There's a real-life Parks and Rec situation going on in a small village outside of Chicago thanks to this mayor, Tiffany Henyard. And with George Santos leaving the House, this is the new, funniest, most corrupt politician in the United States of America. I learned about Tiffany today when I read an article about the ordinance she's putting in that states if she loses her re-election to be mayor, the mayor's salary will be decreased from $225,000 to $25,000. When I read that, I realized I had to learn everything about this woman. And as it turns out, the 90% pay cut doesn't even crack the top 10 of the most corrupt things that this woman has done in a short year that she's been the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. If you're on a highway near Dalton, Illinois, you will see billboards of Tiffany Henyard. These are all billboards that are paid for by taxpayers, and they advertise things such as senior services and free fresh produce. But Tiffany always puts her face and name in huge letters opposed to the actual thing it's advertising.
Henyard's reaction was unprofessional as she laughed off the questions and sarcastically asked if the reporter had any other inquiries. This behavior has only added to the distrust surrounding her administration, reinforcing the belief that she is not taking the concerns of the community seriously. Many residents believe that her failure to properly manage village funds is directly contributing to Dalton's ongoing financial decline.
To her town council when she was being questioned about the money she spent in Las Vegas. Afterwards, Tiffany was asked by the local news station about her time in Las Vegas. I just want to remind you before you watch this clip, this is not a show. This is real life. This is not comedy. It's not a skit.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
She's also recorded a music video with taxpayer dollars. It's not even her own song, it's just her.
Tiffany Henyard is the most controversial mayor in all of America. So this mayor named Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of a place called Dalton, Illinois. And essentially every single resident in Dalton wants Tiffany out of office. This is mainly because Tiffany's very controversial use of taxpayer money. For starters, Tiffany has a full security detail that goes everywhere with her in the town. This security detail is estimated to be about $250K a year. In addition to security, Tiffany also uses taxpayer funds to do things like buying billboards with her face and name on it.
These accusations and criticisms of Tiffany Henyard, fueled by rumors and reports on social media, have painted a troubling picture of her tenure as mayor. The village of Dalton is said to be falling into disrepair due to her alleged mismanagement and misuse of funds. The community's growing dissatisfaction is evident, with many calling for a thorough investigation into her actions and greater accountability for her decisions as the village's leader.
She also puts her name all over government vehicles and buildings throughout the town, and she even has her own 2024 calendar, and of course she put her own birthday in the calendar. Now, in addition to all of this, Tiffany has also made it extremely hard for anyone to run against her. Currently, she makes around $225K a year. However, if someone were to run against her and win, they would not be getting anywhere close to what Tiffany's making. This is because Tiffany is proposing a 90% cut in her salary, but only if someone who is not her is elected. This would drop the pay from $225K to just $25K. Yet even with that massive pay cut, people still want to run against Tiffany just so they can get her out.
Moreover, Lori Lightfoot, who is leading the investigation into Tiffany Henyard's alleged misuse of taxpayer funds, has faced criticism herself for her time as mayor of Chicago.
I did not see this update coming. Y'all remember Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois? First, she was accused of using taxpayer money to fund her lavish lifestyle. Then when the city council unanimously voted for an investigation, she vetoed it. Then last month, a member of her staff accused her of covering up an essay that happened on one of their business trips. Then this week, after a city council meeting showed overwhelmingly that the people want her to step down and resign, the board of trustees has appointed the former Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot, to lead the investigations into the essay.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.